Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. It is 6:37 a.m. East Coast time, Tuesday, July 30th, and the WNBA is back. I mean, some teams haven't played in 10 days or 9 days, so All-Star game is done. Excited to get going. Erica Wheeler was the All-Star game MVP. We had a couple people who did the All-Star game projections. A couple people did really well, so excited about that. I mean, that's as fluky as it gets, right? But the projections are there to identify value and obviously players in really good spots based on their price tag, which there were a lot of them in the All-Star game. Really hard on DraftKings to kind of price an All-Star game when everybody's going to get similar minutes. So yeah, I guess you could do it like the All-Star or like the preseason game is for this Thursday, where everybody's the same price. That probably would have been interesting. But we're going to cover the slate today. Let me just black this out so you don't have to see all the formula stuff. But yeah, we're going to cover the slate today. Back 3-game slate. Interesting. There's a $10,000 at first prize pool. A couple players out. The pricing is very, very tight, but we're going to get into it really quickly. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Sal Vetri. I cover daily fantasy sports in the NFL, which preseason is Thursday. I have a course for the NFL actually coming out. A lot of people asking questions on NFL DFS. I have a full course. It's going to be a video course over on Teachable. It's going to be, I don't know, maybe 5 hours long. There's 12 lessons out right now, highlighting contest selection in the NFL, bankroll management, Vegas odds, how they are implemented in there, my takes on ownership, how to be different, how to be contrarian when, emotional side of betting, how to control your emotions, not only your emotions, but identify where the herd and how the field acts in those situations. Loads of things that's going to be in there. I mean, tons, stacking, key stats per position, how you should be doing lineup construction, lots of things. If you're interested in that, there's a sign-up sheet down below, totally free to sign up. It just gives you an update on when the course is going to be releasing, because right now it's probably within a week or so, but I don't know the exact date. That will help you. So you can sign up down below, totally free if you're interested in the NFL course. Yeah, so that's that. And if you want to get more information, there are other things down there for free, some sign-up guides. But if you could hit the like button and the subscribe button before we get going. Again, if you're new here, you can wait to get some value before you subscribe, but that helps me out the most. We're approaching 6,000 subscribers on the channel, and that is fantastic. I cannot tell you how excited I am that this channel in less than a year has grown that much. It's fantastic. So thank you all so much for that. And please join the community if you have not yet already. So let's get into it. I do have WNBA projections as well. They're linked down below if you want to see my projected points for all of the players tonight, as well as minutes and all that stuff. Linked down below on Patreon. You can get that monthly. So Diana Taurasi still remains out. Don't know if she's even going to play this year. Figured that they were just keeping her out for the first half. Once it got closer to the All-Star break, she's still out. So I don't know if it's just a lingering issue or she's just going to say, you know what, not worth it to push it with this back injury. Essen Carson's is still out. She's going to miss 6 to 8 weeks. She's out a while. So these Phoenix guards are still thin. Wnba should see stable minutes in the mid-30s, and Alana Mitchell should see minutes in the 30s at a cheap price point today. One of the few players who's at a favorable price point. Asia Wilson is $9,200 today, and she's also out. So Wilson was out for a couple of games. She did not play in the All-Star game, an honorary captain. Her team was named after her, but she did not actually play, going up against Della Danae's team. But yeah, Wnba is way priced up, and you're about to see $9,400 Wnba, but she's still probably too cheap for this matchup. And then you're going to get a great point per minute production player in Liz Cambridge, becoming an even better point per minute production player with Wilson, her running mate, out. So let's get into the target offense sheet. This should be a quicker video. 3-game slate WNBA is usually pretty quick. Target offense sheet, I'm identifying pace right here more so than anything else. I don't care about the Vegas odds. They're probably wrong. I make them myself because WNBA odds don't come out until like a couple hours before tip because nobody wants to bet on those games. They're just not televised enough. So so the pace is just how many possessions per team are in the game that I'm projecting based on each team's pace, based on the league average pace. You just kind of get a weighted average for the game. Obviously, the more possessions, the better. Chicago and Connecticut looks like the highest paced game today, and it's not anything crazy. I mean, Chicago is a fast-paced team on the year. Connecticut's a little bit above average, so you get an above-average pace game. Phoenix and Washington should be playing at sort of a snail's pace. They are both bottom half of the league in terms of pace, how quick they play. But in terms of stacking players from a specific team, no, I'm going to be going everywhere today, with the Phoenix guards being injured still, especially Essen Carson's. There's going to be value in a Leilani Mitchell. There's going to be more upside for a Wnba, and then just all the forwards are on the slate today. So you want to target forwards in the WNBA. Jonquil Jones is on the slate today. Elena Della Danae is on the slate. Brittany Griner's on the slate. Liz Cambridge is on the slate. All the big forwards are on the slate today. All you're missing really is like a Natasha Howard. So yeah, I'm fine spreading the wealth today in terms of my lineups. I'm not choosing 5 players from one game like we have in the past. I'm not choosing, maybe I land on 4 from a game. But as of right now, I'm not prioritizing one game. The gap between the possessions is not enough. You see Dallas and Las Vegas is projected for about 78 possessions today, whereas Chicago and Connecticut is the highest, projected for about 80. Those extra 4 possessions aren't making me stack that game, right? All the Vegas odds are probably going to be around the mid 150s or so. Some might break free into the low 160s in terms of the overall team or game total. But again, so close that it's not enough to make me go, oh yes, that is a spot for all the fantasy goodness today. No. So just keep an eye on the pace. Chicago and Connecticut should be the fastest paced game, slightly more than Dallas and Las Vegas. Phoenix and Washington would be the game that I would say maybe get less of, but you have an Elena Del Dene in that game. You have a Christy Tolliver. You have all the Phoenix guards who are value. So I'm sure people will get there as well as myself. So that's just kind of a brief on what the games look like today. Nothing crazy is standing out, no outliers. So let's get into just early interest. Why don't we? And again, like button if you can right now, and subscribe button at any point. These are my early interests, so I do have projections linked up down below. I take these from my projections. I like them either because I have them projected for a lot of minutes today, I have them projected for a good amount of points, they're a good value, whatever it might be. That's how I discover that's how I kind of come up with my early interests at, 6 in the morning. So yeah, these are not in any ranking order. Really, they should be by price. I just kind of put them in there as I go because of injuries, because of their value today, because of the minutes. So Liz Cambage is $10,900. She's been balling with no Asia Wilson. She's only been playing 29 minutes per game with no Asia Wilson, so she's not even seeing a big uptick in her minutes. The minutes are stabilizing, right? Instead of playing 25 this game or 22, now she's always playing these 29 in a small sample without Wilson, but she's just such a great point per minute producer. I have her at 10,900 today, and against Dallas in a bottom third of the league matchup against these Dallas forwards, it's a fantastic spot. I prefer Liz Cambage over Elena Del Dene today because unlike Liz Cambage gets to go up against Glory Johnson and Kayla Thornton, who are good offensive players, but Glory Johnson's an older player, 28. That's old for the WNBA. A slower step on defense. Kayla Thornton's not threatening anybody on defense. And then Elena Del Dene is going up against Brittany Griner today, the second toughest matchup in the league against these Phoenix forwards, and probably the toughest individual matchup other than herself. So yeah, Elena Del Dene at $10,800 is interesting because she is the best player in the league, in my opinion, most likely. But she's also going up against Brittany Griner today, which if you're telling me the price point is only $100 more for Cambage against Dallas, and she's going to have no Asia Wilson, yeah, I'm getting there. Jonquil Jones at $10,700. All these players are so tightly priced. This is going to be a favorable matchup for Jonquil Jones against Chicago today. She'll be going up against like a Shanae Parker or Lavender, and none of that's really going to threaten me. I imagine you get 30 minutes out of Jones today. The worry with Jones is that you're paying top dollar for a player whose usage rate is lower than that of Liz Cambage than Elena Del Dene. 23% usage rate for Jonquil Jones is significantly lower by 3 to 4 to 5 percentage points than some of these other top studs. I prefer Cambage over both Del Dene and Jonquil Jones today. And I probably prefer Del Dene over Jones. Del Dene, although going up against Brittany Griner, has shown us that she is matchup proof, whereas Jonquil Jones can play 28 minutes today and be kind of fizzled out, even though it's a favorable matchup. We've seen that so many times. It's often, it's almost like every other game at this point. But there is still interest there because this is an elite player who should see 30 minutes with 40-point upside every single time. Derica Hamby is priced up all the way to 9,400, and honestly, she grades out as a top 3 value on the slate for me. You're going to have Liz Cambage in a fantastic spot against Dallas, and so is Derica Hamby. She's the only other reliable forward on the entire team. We've seen her play, 38 and then 33 minutes in the 2 games without Wilson. I believe I've earned for 35 today. There's just no other minutes to go around at forward. They have one other forward out there, and that's been taking the backup minutes for Cambage and Hamby and getting 12 minutes in the game because there's just no other minutes. There's no other forwards to go around. They don't play small. They're not going to be able to play small against Dallas, so yeah, Derica Hamby at 9,400. The price point is steep, but if you could fit it in there, I think she's a fantastic play. The minutes are going to be there. The point per minute production is off the roof. I don't even know if that's a saying, but yeah, looks good. Alyssa Thomas, 9,100. Connecticut versus Chicago. Again, similar to same take as Jonquil Jones, except Alyssa Thomas is going to be $1,600 cheaper. I believe I prefer Alyssa Thomas over Jonquil Jones in the same matchup if you're talking about value. Christy Tolliver, Washington against Phoenix. This is going to be a difficult matchup for Christy Tolliver, but there's no Essence Carson, which should help a little bit. Leilani Mitchell is pretty good on defense. Dawana Bonner is okay on defense. So yeah, Tolliver at 8,800 I think is a nice play. A lot of point guards are going to be kind of mixed all together for me today. Christy Tolliver, Kayla McBride, similar price points. They seem like similar plays. I think I prefer Christy Tolliver because McBride faces Dallas, who is #1 in the league at limiting fantasy production. Glory Johnson at 7,900. I do like Glory Johnson here at 7,900. No Asia Wilson, who is probably the better defender compared to her and Liz Cambage. She's off the court. This is already a bottom third defense in the league against the forward position for fantasy purposes in Las Vegas. It should be a faster paced game. So I do like getting to Glory Johnson a little bit at 7,900. Again, the concern is that the minutes won't be there. Coming off of the All-Star break, the first game, I imagine she is fresh, hasn't played in about a week, a little more. 28 minutes is what I have her for today. Courtney Williams is probably one of my favorite, her and Wnba Mitchell and Natasha Cloud, so this is probably where I'm going to end up at guard a lot. Courtney Williams at 7,800. If she continues to play bigger minutes instead of her average on the year, which is 27, 28, if she starts to play closer to 30 as she had been to end the first half of the season, I'm going to get a lot of interest. Wnba Mitchell with no Essence Carson should see 30 plus minutes today. This is a player who should probably be in the $8,000 range when she sees 30 plus minutes. At 7,500, it's too cheap of a price point, even though it is a bottom third matchup. Washington's top 3, they're 3rd in the league, limiting points to the guard position. It's still too cheap on a slate like this. Natasha Cloud is starting to see big minutes once again. There was a phase where she only saw 26, 27. Now she's back to her season average around 32 to 33. Again, a lot of these guards are in unfavorable spots outside of Courtney Williams against Chicago. But once again, I'm probably going to get to Cloud at 7,400. You just can't pass up 32 minutes out of a point guard at that price point, similar to Wnba Mitchell at that exact same price point. If Courtney Williams was going to get 32 minutes today, I think I have her at 29 or 28. If she was going to get 32, she'd be my favorite play because she has the best matchup and she'd be seeing the same amount of minutes, even though she's a little more expensive, just the best matchup. But right now, I lean Wnba Mitchell and Natasha Cloud at their price points, but Courtney Williams is right there. Those three are really probably where I'll end up at guard today. And then the last two, Kelsey Plum at 6,900 and Shakina Strickland, I have for 25 minutes. She's very cheap. She's a very cheap option, but she's a tournament-only option, and she's reliant on if she makes 3 3-pointers or not. She'll shoot 4 or 5 of them, 5, 6. I don't know how many she'll shoot. It really depends if she makes them. She picks up not a lot of peripherals. She's sort of like the Klay Thompson, nowhere near as good as Klay Thompson, obviously, but sort of like the Klay Thompson for DFS purposes. She is a shooter-dependent scoring player. So this is where I'm at right now on early interest. You can get the projections linked up down below. If you got any value from this video, please hit the subscribe button. There's also the NFL course that is coming out. It'll be a bunch of 12 different sections with little topics in each of them. It'll be about a 5-hour course I'm projecting, could be longer, always going to add more to it. You can sign up down below for free if you're interested. Let me know if you have any questions about that in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions for today's slate in the comments. You could also DM me or at me on Twitter at SalVetriDFS. But yeah, as of right now, that is it. Hit the subscribe button before you leave if you have not already. Thank you so much for all of this. Peace out, guys.